These stories about a famous actress that I worked with probably 15 years ago, give or take. I didn't know her at the time. She wasn't a client at the time. I got a call from management saying, "Hey, we have a stalker situation. We have someone squatting at this client of ours home." And I said, "Okay, well, let's break that down. Is your client living there?" "No, client's not there. This is an apartment that she purchased right when she started to kind of get into acting and her rise to being famous. She purchased it. Very sentimental. It's her first purchase, since coming to Hollywood. But she doesn't live there anymore. It's vacant. It's just something that she's not going to get rid of. For whatever reason, they didn't transfer it over to her trust when she, did become famous or prior to becoming famous. Most people put it into a trust, so it's not easily traceable. Nonetheless, they had us come out. We did surveillance. We tiptoed around the situation. We did surveillance for a while, and then it progressed into more things. So, we're sitting out there. We're doing 24-hour surveillance. We, lo and behold, there is someone there. We see someone continuing to go in and out of the building. We then move closer, talk to the neighbors. The neighbors confirm there's someone is going in and out of the apartment. We confirm it is this homeless person that's infatuated with her, that's been stalking her for years. And so we called it in, we got him arrested, and started the process. So the thing is when you get somebody arrested without, full on charges other than, a B&E, it's not gonna hold too long. It's not gonna stick too long. So he was arrested, but he was quickly let out within, I think he was let out within 24 or 48 hours his first time. And so we're still monitoring, we're still doing surveillance. We're still monitoring the 2 days that he was locked up. We knew where he went. We monitored his release there to see if he was going to come back around. It took about a week and a half, 2 weeks. He finally came back around and tried to get back into the apartment, at which time we had him picked up again for breaking and entering, and then furthered the process. At this point, we knew he was a threat. We knew, or rather, not necessarily a threat, but we knew he was going to keep pursuing this. He's a longtime stalker. He's been sending fan emails, fan mail, all the things for a very long time. And so we knew he was. We knew on paper and on surface it was deemed as a threat, and he's showing that he was going to continue to come back. So at that point we escalated it with the client, and we said, "Here's next steps. Here's what we should do. We should obviously put some guys with the client, whenever she leaves, any kind of public appearances, whatever, until we figure out what his." What he's looking for, what he's trying to do here, where we're going to go from here. Obviously, the more he gets picked up, the more he gets arrested, the more pissed off he's going to get. Throwing a piece of paper at him, which is what I call it, in a restraining order is nothing more than just pissing someone off even further. I honestly think that restraining orders are kind of a joke. I know it's a legal process we need to go through in order to build the case to get to a better situation with the overall thing, but it's just a piece of paper that's pissing someone off even more if they are a threat. Nonetheless, same thing happened. He got picked up when he was getting ready to get released. Management called and said, "Hey, I think at this point it's been 2 months. It's been a kind of a process. It took a few weeks to kind of get track. Then he got put away. Then he got back out, and then it took him a couple weeks to come back, and then he got put away again. Took a couple weeks to come back. So at this point, we're like a month and a half in." And the third time he got picked up, and we were kind of tracking his release. Management called and they're like, "Hey, I think we're good. We're gonna just, looks like it's just gonna be a thing of he's just gonna keep bobbing around the neighborhood. He doesn't know where she lives. He doesn't, we're not seeing him at other appearances or anything like that. So we're gonna just let it go in hopes that maybe he won't come back this time." Because the first time was a couple weeks, the second time was another week more than that. So I was like, that's not how that works typically. I've been doing this for a very long time. Threat assessments and stalker situations and all this thing is something I've seen many, many times over again. That's not how that's going to work. It's going to keep escalating. That's just the way it is. If you look at any sort of history with anyone that's ever, sadly enough, ended up on the wrong side of a pursuer or stalker, with is most common term for you guys, is it doesn't end well. And so So I told him, I was very blunt. I was like, listen, that's not the smartest decision. I don't agree with this. And if you are going to release us, you need to release the firm from any potential liability moving forward, because we don't agree with what you're doing here. And so they did, and whatever. And so at that point I was on direct communication with the client. We had been talking and kind of walking her through situations. We had security with her. So I was with her at part-time, doing stuff here and there. And there was other people with her for my team. And in this situation, I immediately texted her. I said, hey, management just called. I just wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page here, and this is something that you wanted. And she's like, well, I don't want it, but management's convinced me that it makes sense and that something's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, listen, I disagree. I've seen this for a very long time. And so long story short, her and I came to the agreement that I would just check in on her. I was in the area anyway. I was in Hollywood every day for work. So I was in the area anyways for the next, several weeks. I would pop in, I would check on her, if she went and grabbed lunch, or in this case where I'm getting to, went to the gym, or anything public at all. I would, kind of be around and come pop in randomly and check on her and whatever. So, and she would keep me in the loop on her movements. Hey, just a quick text. Hey, Dustin headed to the gym. Hey, Dustin headed to lunch. Here we are, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. So with that being said, fast forward, not even 48 hours after he was released. Meanwhile, she's messaging me. I'm checking in, whatever. And this one day I woke up and it was just a weird feeling. I had a weird feeling in my gut, and I texted her. I said, hey, just want to, obviously I can't tell her that because my job is to make sure that they are comfortable and whatever. I don't want to alert her to something being off or me feeling off. I mean, that's not for me to put that out there and have her have a weird or uncomfortable day. But I just said, hey, I'm going to be in the area and I'm free. So, I'll pop in a little bit. You'll see me a little bit more today. I basically put myself in a situation where I could be close to her and more and with her more without actually alerting her that something fell off that morning when I woke up. And mind you, backtrack real quick. When management released us, they released us. I wasn't being paid for any of this stuff. I was just doing this because at this point, we were not friends. You're never a friend with your celebrity client, but you're friendly enough to where, and obviously I gave a shit and I cared and I wanted to make sure that everything was okay. And so I wanted to kind of ride it out for another week or two to see where it went before I made an ultimate decision of like, hey, you guys need to have us back, or B, I guess we're just going to let this go. Nonetheless, that morning felt weird. I got to a good place with her where we were able to kind of be with her more that day. And I was coming from the other side of town. She was coming from the other side of town. She's like, hey, I'm going to hit the gym. She told me late. She told me last minute. So she was already at the gym, or like almost at the gym by the time she hit me up. And so she hit the gym. I went to the gym and I got there minutes before she was wrapping up. And again, there's just a tingly feeling, just something felt off and something that felt weird. So I pulled in, I saw her car, I pulled a few spots down. There was no one to her driver's side. Looked around and everything seemed okay. Walked in, saw her, and she was wrapping up, about to come out. And so I popped back outside, kind of just looked around. I was going to let her come out to me, and I didn't need to be, on top of her, kind of, hovering. So, the second she comes out or the second I come out and I see a guy kind of at a distance, and it just seemed off, but I couldn't really make out who he was. But anyways, she comes out, and the second she comes out and I catch her coming out and I look back to my right, this guy's sprinting at us. And so I grab her because the distance is better for me to get her. I grab her, I put her in her car, I shut the door behind her. By the time I turn around, I'm able to grab like 2 feet. I grab this guy and take him to the ground. And he had a knife in his hand. He was literally coming after her to try and stab her and whatever that was going to be. If you want more stories like this, keep following. I'll do more like this. Let me know. All right.